waiting. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello, it's Diana. If you don't know me, I use the creative arts to talk about mental health. So my background is in performance. I am an actor and improviser, writer, performer. I guess those are different words for all the same thing. But hello, thank you for joining me. So my background is in performance, but I wanted to bring you this quick visual arts exercise every day. I do it at 11 a.m. I wanted to bring it to you because I learned this exercise in a class on managing depression and anxiety, and I thought it might be a useful tool for you to use, and us. It's useful for me too, so I'm bringing it to you every day during these stay-at-home orders, which are currently set to expire in California, I believe May 15th. So we'll see how that goes. Hello, thanks for joining me. So what you're going to need is you just need a piece of paper, and you need some coloring utensils. And I use crayons right now, but you can use markers or paints or just a pen, whatever works best for you. And we're going to quickly check in with ourselves, and we are going to draw our thoughts and emotions currently right here, sitting here with me, as if it's weather. So is it sunny in your inner world? Maybe it's sunny, but actually the temperature is only 50 because it's really, really windy. Maybe it's sunny, but the temperature is 300 because the sun is very, very hot, and you're actually on a star that's close to it. Actually, I don't know if that's very good astronomy, but you know what I'm talking about. Anything goes in your weather world. There can be trees and pine cones if you want to draw that instead of weather. It really is whatever works for you to draw. Weather is just a jumping off point to get you started. It's by all means, you don't have to just draw weather. Also, this is a cat that is usually behind me, so I show it to you as well if you tune in because it brings me joy. I hope it brings you joy as well. So, what are we going to draw, and how do we get started? You can check in with yourself a couple different ways. You can check in just cerebrally, a quick yeah, I'm feeling, and I'm going to draw that, however that looks to you. You could check in by body scans. If you want to body scan, and you usually use your body as an indication of what you might be thinking and feeling, you can always do that. So you just start at the top of your head, and you just bring your awareness through your mouth, down to your collarbone, the chest, the arms, into the torso, through the legs, down to the little tips of your feet. And just notice any place that might be holding tension or some excitement maybe. Sometimes there are places of our body that feel joyful, whereas other parts do not. Sometimes there are parts that hold tension. Hello, thank you for joining me. Sometimes there are bits that hold tension for us. Right now, as I'm talking to you, just like weather, my body can hold a lot of different emotions and energies all at once. It can be sunny and windy at the same time. So our emotions can have that same dynamic of holding multiple things at once. So as I do a body scan, my jaw is actually quite tense, which is really interesting to me because I don't usually hold a lot of tension here. I usually will hold tension like in my lips, but not in my jaw right here. So it's really something for me just to be curious about and to notice. Sometimes emotions can be very big, and we might not necessarily have the language to identify them or process them. But if you just tiptoe to the edge and just notice them, that's always a good start. And within my body, I might have tension here, but the tips of my toes are actually feeling very light and airy and almost serendipitous. So that's kind of, if I'm going through a hard time, I might take my awareness down to this piece of my body, these toes, that are making me feel really comforted right now. So the body can tell you a lot of different things. That's one way to check in with yourself. Another way you check in with yourself before we do our drawing is if you just want to take a look at your color palette. And your color palette has a similar awareness exercise you can do, where you just take a look at your color palette and see what color pulls your awareness to it, and just start with that color. For me, maybe oftentimes I gravitate towards silver, and the silver can sometimes symbolize weight for me in my pictures, but it also sometimes symbolizes worth. So I find that with colors, I like using colors because I find that they hold a lot more, and they can sometimes be, in my mind, more dynamic than just a word. But that said, words also help us to identify and process emotions too, because it helps us to, it helps our mind to make sense, to put whatever we're having in a container so we can deal with it, as opposed to it just being this, this overwhelming feeling or this chaotic energy. So you can just look, speaking of chaos, I just threw my crayons. So you can just look at your color palette and see which one grabs your attention, and then start with that, and then just put it to the page and see what comes out. Great, so let's draw. That's that cat again, if you want to see it. So what are we thinking in this current moment here? And if that were weather, what would that look like? If you're just joining me, thank you so much. What we're doing is a quick art exercise to draw our thoughts and emotions in this current moment as if it's weather. So just take a piece of paper and some coloring utensils and just translate whatever you're going through right now as if it's the language of weather. And you don't have to stick to just weather. Okay. I'll do this over here. And one here. Where's that color? No. What color does that want to be? Oh, this color. I love this color. And then Okay. So if you want to take more time to draw, take as long as you can or need. You really, this couple minutes is just to check in with you. So it can be as long as you're able to within your environment. Sometimes I will add things after the fact to the picture if I thought that maybe it wasn't quite complete. I can do that. Or if throughout the day I want to do it again and do an entirely different picture, you can do that. There have been times where I've just grabbed a pen and I've just like quickly drawn something to just tell my emotion to the page. So this is what I drew. It was really interesting to me because I usually will look at my color palette and I'll usually just pick up a color and put it to the page and see what comes out. That's usually what I do, so that I don't I have a tendency to make stories out of things because I'm a storyteller, and that's how I process a lot. So I usually allow the colors to lead me so that I don't control the story usually. So it's really been an interesting exercise for me in even trusting myself. So I picked up my color palette and I picked up a red, which I don't usually use red. For me, anger and frustration is kind of a scary feeling. I don't normally go towards those. But what's interesting for me is that emotions, regardless of what story and meaning what story and meaning we've put on them, emotions are information. So oftentimes I might feel anger, or I might feel rage, or I might feel frustrated. But that's just also telling me a piece of truth about myself that I need to listen to. So I might be really, really frustrated, but the truth is oftentimes I'm hurt. I'm not being heard. I'm or whatever is underneath that. Sometimes there's something underneath that needs to come out. So I don't always know. I'm not perfect either. So this is also a lesson in imperfection and how it's okay to be imperfect. So I picked up the red and I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. I don't use red, but I trusted it and I let it onto the page. So I started in the corner with this, I've been drawing this shape recently, and it's been interesting because it's almost symbolized hardship, not perfection, frustration. I call it a tornado. But at times that tornado has been silver. At times it's been pink. At times yesterday it was gold, and it was a path of wisdom for me. So the meaning changes every day. And it's interesting because I feel like I started with that tension that I talked about earlier, and I just started to draw. And I was fighting kind of with my mind because I didn't really feel like I have any reason to be frustrated or angry or any of those things because there's such big things happening in this world. But that doesn't take away the fact that emotion was there for whatever reason, even if to me it didn't seem logical in the moment, because I actually feel outwardly quite content. But it's there. So I let it lead me. And as I got to about here, where you can see the indentations of the wood from the table, it was really fascinating because it released. It released as I was drawing it, and I was like, oh. And it was a moment where I was like, wow, thank you, crayon in my hand, for leading me out of this emotion I didn't really know was there, because it just needed to be released. Whatever that emotion was and whatever that corresponded to, it just needed to be released. So within the path of the color, it did. And then what was really interesting to me was I picked up a silver, and the silver mimicked it. And the silver was almost walking in tandem with whatever this is. And that for me was in some ways like it just brought a little bit of energy to my eyes, which I don't quite know that emotion either, but I know it was almost like walking together. And I know we're all in different boats during this, but that made me, as back in SNL days, remember with the two women, they would call them the clumped, that I'm probably saying it terrible because I'm not Jewish, but that was pretty cool to see those two energy paths side by side. And then I drew another one down here that's not formed in the same way, but it almost felt like a younger energy, just kind of mimicking and walking in step as well. Then I also drew almost like threads. They're almost like threads of other threads joining this path of almost. It almost felt like it was worth and strength and just kind of, it's a walking hand in hand. And then I picked up other colors to draw orbs, and it's been interesting because these orbs have they've come out in different pictures throughout the last few weeks. I have a big this one's periwinkle, and at times this shape is a symbol of stability, but it also is a symbol of a big raindrop sometimes and sadness. And so that feels more true for me today. Not necessarily that I'm sad in the moment, but that there's a heaviness to the world, and there is a lot that people are going through. And so that's kind of more of a collective, a symbol of collective experience. That is, I'm sure everyone's going through it on a different way, but it's undeniable. And so then I have other orbs. This feels very solid, and I filled it in because it's abundance that is waiting someday. This one I felt like in the past has felt more hopeful, but it's also solid. So I feel like these are the two more stabilizing factors of the picture. And I drew a yellow one in the bottom. That one, it's not quite as immediate in my attention sphere, but it's there. So, okay, I hope that is helpful, and I hope that you had a experience as well as you drew your picture. It might look a lot different than mine. We're all going through different emotions, but once we start talking, it's really interesting how similar people's experiences can be despite the very different circumstances. So I hope that serves you. You can do this with loved ones. You can also do it with children too. And it's just a tool for us to have that release and for us to take a minute to get some of whatever's happening here and here onto a page. It doesn't have to look good. It doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to be a minute of check-in, really. So this is a cat. If you just want to see the cat, you can too. So I will see you all again tomorrow at 11 a.m. and I wish you a good day. Okay, bye. Bye-bye.